Hi folks, Chuck here again with 5 more horror films that I love, but that very few people seem to talk about online. So the first one is Banshee Chapter. Now, that's got a bit of kind of notice when it came out a few years back, but I've seen very little mention about it since. This is, to put it frankly, a shit scary found footage type film about a young lady investigating the disappearance of a friend of hers, about government experiments that she believes might have led to her friend's disappearance, all of which kind of leads her down a track where she realizes there's this weird radio signal that's been created that might be summoning something from somewhere else. I'm keeping it vague there because you really, if you're going to watch this, you want to go on the journey. It goes to some really frightening places. There's also a handful of kind of like pop culture, cult, and conspiracy theory stuff in here. It all bubbles along. It feels fresh. The pace is really good, and it builds towards a really quite terrifying climax. Definitely one I would recommend. I always walk away from this unsettled every time I watch it. The Empty Man. This came out to very little fanfare a few years back, and I love it. It's very cosmic horror, a little bit Lovecraftian. It's basically about a former policeman who starts to investigate the disappearance of a girl and comes up against a cult who are looking to summon demons, which sounds like your usual bunch of kind of, nuts. Only, of course, this being a horror movie, they're maybe not as off the tracks as we would like them to be. And it starts to introduce some really unpleasant kind of information about not just the world around us, but about the protagonist. I did not see the end coming. It's not a perfect film, but it is a really good one, and one that I would happily recommend, particularly to anyone who likes cosmic horror and Lovecraftian horror and the like. Cobweb. Love this. This is another one of those where when you explain it, it sounds like it's just stuff you've seen before cobbled together. It's basically about a boy with very weird controlling parents who is hearing things in the wall of his house every night, and he starts to believe that his parents have got some big secret that they're hiding. If I was to say that it was both like, your sort of average haunted house movie and the people under the stairs type thing, you wouldn't be far wrong, but it's a bit more fresh than that. And it does get quite violent and gory at points. The creature of the piece is not exactly human, but also not exactly a ghost. It's something else. I'd really recommend you watch this. The performances are fantastic. The kid in this is absolutely great. And the unpleasant dad, the increasingly unpleasant dad, is played by Anthony Starr, who now plays Homelander in The Boys. And it's a very different performance and a very different kind of nasty person he's playing, because he is very nasty. Definitely worth checking out, Cobweb. This is a fun one. Boys from County Hell. It's an Irish vampire movie. And right from the opening scene, it's really quite a disturbing one as well. And it's nothing sort of too unique in terms of the setup. It's basically a construction company fucks with, an ancient, bunch of stones, and horrible things start to happening. But it is unique in the way that the characters deal with it, and the way the plot unfolds, and also the methodology of the vampire in this. I found it really quite tense throughout, and again, one that I think more people should be talking about. It's not all that long ago this one came out, actually. I think it was screened originally on Shudder. So it's definitely out there. It's on Shudder. It's, on physical media, obviously. Probably other places as well. Worth having a look at. Boys from County Hell. Finally, this is a movie that I absolutely love. It is one of my all-time favourite horror movies. I always feel a bit awkward recommending it to people, even dyed-in-the-wool horror fans, because it's only obviously a horror movie for literally the last 30 seconds of the film. And as soon as you say that, it always feels to me slightly like a spoiler, like you're waiting for something to happen at the end. I got it literally thinking that it was a British crime film, which is another genre that I really, really like. But this is the one, Bull. And it's basically about an enforcer for a very low-level British crime family who you're not quite sure what happened to him at the start. That he was kind of ousted from the gang and went away, and now he's come back, and no one expected to see him back, and they're all instantly terrified to various degrees because he is a brutal psycho. He's also the hero, which makes for some uncomfortable watching, but only because everyone around him is worse. There are no truly good people in this film. Maybe the kid, Bull's kid, who he's come back to find, as it turns out. But there are scenes of absolutely brutal violence that get worse as the film goes on. We get to see some of the backstory, and some that also unfolds. So there's kind of two timelines running through this: what happened before and what's happening now. We get to see that Bull was, despite being kind of important to the gang, was really badly treated by them. Not necessarily physically, but just, psychologically tortured, really. And that all came to a head. And then he went away for some time, and now he's back, and nobody is happy about it. I absolutely urge you to please watch this film. Even if you're just watching it as a British crime, a gritty British crime film, it is excellent. And when it gets to the end and you realise that it was a horror film all along, it's worth it. It may not surprise you. I didn't see it coming, but then no one had told me about it. Again, I thought it was a British crime film, and that was it. But it informs a lot of what you've already seen up to that point, and it also feels right. It's a great revenge flick, whether you view it as a horror film or as a British crime film, and I recommend it to anyone. But again, do be aware there's some really, really gnarly violence in this. So, if you're not up for that, don't. So anyway, those are 5 more horror films that I feel need some more love, that I hope that you'll go and watch. Have you seen some of them already? What do you think? Did you think they were as good as I think they are? Drop a comment down below. Let me know.